What's going on, guys? It's Frito here for a huge news roundup. The full content roadmap was released for Season 4, which launches April 11th, introducing Lifeweaver if you have the Premium Battle Pass, of course. Otherwise, you'll have to unlock him, as well as a Bob and Weave game mode, where you use Lifeweaver's grip ability in order to save Bob, I suppose. You can play that to earn a free epic skin. Similar to the Olympus game mode, it seems like they have yet another, let's say like cosmetic game mode. This time Starwatch, because the theme of the Battle Pass this time around is space opera, with a lot of pretty epic skins, especially for a StarCraft fan like myself. A new comic will release with that, and the Starwatch game mode will be out May 9th. May 23rd, you can unlock a free Symettra skin. The Mythic this time in the Battle Pass is for Sigma and looks amazing. And they'll be adding the fan-made map Talantis that they made on Twitch with Aaron Keller and the chat, April 25th. This map is super fun, especially as a Quake veteran. It reminds me of The Longest Yard, which, if you don't know, there is jump pads galore. I might even go so far to ask that they make a map like this for the main competitive mode, but a lot of players might find that too wacky. I won't, though. I'll just enjoy it. Aaron did a developer update. Most of it was a repeat about things we already knew about Lifeweaver, but something that I think is going to be a recurring theme of conversation, at least up until the point where players can actually play the character. I see a lot of people give takes or impressions or worries about Lifeweaver and his grief potential with grip, not having played them. I don't think you're going to feel like he griefs any more than any other character, but Aaron says, teamwork, including depending on trusting your allies, is crucial to Overwatch combat. It's possible to use different abilities in ways that don't always have a positive outcome for your team. Think of Mercy using her res at the wrong moment. He goes on a bit and says, overall, thinking that the new mechanic is worth it. Reminding as well that Lifeweaver is the 5th new hero to Overwatch 2. The following hero, slated for Season 6, will also be a support. He says that the gap between support and the other roles is too large, and they're going to start correcting it. They're not going to abandon the other two roles, but they won't stick to an exact formula either. However, you can expect roughly 2 supports to every 1 damage and tank hero as they begin to catch up the support roster. Here he explains the Starwatch event. We're releasing a new game mode in Season 4 called Starwatch. Players take the side of a watcher or an agent of the Infinite Empire. It's a lot of fun and takes a page out of Junkenstein's book, in that it tells a story that is set outside of the Overwatch universe. Who knows, if players enjoy Starwatch, it would be great to be able to expand this story in the future. That seems to indicate they're already planning on doing that. That's what I think. Aaron goes on, one of the things that I'm most excited about with Starwatch is that it introduces some PvE elements into a PvP match. Turrets are placed for the Infinite Empire, and Doomfist will play alongside the Watchers. We've been talking about game modes like this lately and would like to explore them more. We've done experiments like this before. The Archives missions were designed and technology testbeds to allow us to start creating the upcoming story missions for Overwatch 2. I'd love for us to think of Starwatch in the same way the first steps into something bigger and more ambitious that we could be doing for the future. So this actually has a lot riding on it. They're kind of low-key saying they hope this works out because they want to do a lot more of this. And especially for the game to have like endless amounts of cosmetic content, setting the characters of Overwatch in different scenarios just means they can have infinite game modes, infinite cosmetic games like this, and perhaps even other spin-off games that could come down the line. There's long since been rumors of an Overwatch on mobile, either the game itself or an offshoot of it. So when he starts to talk about bigger things, I think it's not out of the realm of possibility to start thinking of spin-offs and other things that they can do to expand out the IP. That is their goal after all. That's why they put so many eggs in this basket. They haven't even been quiet about that. It's explicitly been said in shareholder meetings. Last up, they are excited to announce that they'll be celebrating Pride this year. Aaron says, this is an important subject to us. It's easy to get called out for talking about a fictional character's queerness without the proper setup, or get accused of adding inclusivity for the wrong reasons, which of course would be tokenism, which I don't think Overwatch ever did. But he goes on to say, we've always thought about Overwatch as a game that portrays a bright, hopeful, and inspirational future. The world is a diverse place. We would not only like Overwatch to reflect that, but we want players to be able to see a part of themselves in our game, to have it showcase who they are. We'd like Pride to feel like it's being recognized and celebrated within our game world. Before June, we will share how we are celebrating Overwatch 2's first Pride, and we will also share the values that drive this team every day to bring our game's vision region to life. All right, all this is great, but let's just be real. This is because they're no longer in China, because we already know that there was a lot of censorship on different broadcasts. It's really easy to wear a Pride pin in North America or at BlizzCon, but those things would be cut out for the Asian regions. But I suppose better late than never. Alec Dawson did a dev chat on the Play Overwatch Twitch and YouTube channels, getting interviewed by ML7. They went into depth about a lot of the things that have been said elsewhere, so I will very quickly summarize some of the most interesting key points. Cassidy is going to be getting a magnetic nade rework because they've also been thinking about what his personality as a character even is. They gave him more range on his Peacekeeper. They say that Magnade is going to turn more into a long-range ability. Well, would it be more like an Ana nade or let's say an HE nade in a military shooter? Would that be more fair than warping to the target through time and space? We'll have to find out. On the subject of Moira, who got some, let's say, interesting buffs to allow her for more playmaking opportunities during Coalescence, fading during Cole is quite a big deal. Keeping her alive or allowing her to use the insane movement to be more aggressive. They discussed this a bit more in depth, talking about other utility they have been trying to put on Moira. They've tried a lot of things, it sounds like, and they think usually the orb is where you could apply some added utility. As we know, near the beta of the game, they tried an enfeeble orb that made targets do 75% less damage, but they deemed that it wasn't so fun. I thought it was a blast as a support player, but fundamentally they like the natural flow she has. They don't want to make her too complicated, as the have overwhelming stats is literally what they said that they like, which is funny because that's always what I say I don't like, but that's what they want the character to be able to do. One thing they did try was, I suppose, like a recon effect where it would mark enemies, but it would happen so much that it seemed kind of odd to have that ability, and it didn't make any sense with Moira's character design. So that's not staying. Instead, they're just having her current kit have more interplay or options to it. When discussing the Brigitte change, that's one of them that Overwatch 1 fans especially are like terrified of, because we've survived the years of Brig being an oppressive character at high levels of play. Alec Dawson did say that they would tone back Brig if this deems to be too good. I'm gonna go on a limb and say I don't even know if Brig's all that necessary in a Lifeweaver meta where the game is going vertical and you can play a lot greedier of picks. I don't know if you need Brig necessarily. A change they attempted in playtests was to give Brigitte an invulnerable shield, but it didn't feel natural or intuitive for the enemies to play against. So instead they gave her a 21/9 shield with lots of health that can stun. I'm not sure which one's worse. Overall, discussing the nature of support and how they're trying to design the role in Overwatch 2, they want them to be more scrappy and be able to defend themselves. Whereas in Overwatch 1, you really needed teamwork to do that, and there was more players on the board, for example. But I think you can kind of tell that in 2, they have a lot of options, extra abilities, and they kept like slowly making the role stronger, I feel. At least on the whole. On the subject of Lifeweaver, they wanted to make a few things clear. For those of you that are worried about it being a grief ability, you can use a movement ability in order to break out of the bubble, but frankly, you get invulnerability during the effect. So even if it's used badly, you at least aren't dying to anything. So I don't know, having it done to me, even at bad times, it doesn't tilt me at all. There also will not be a confirm target option like there is for Echo Duplicate or on a Nano Boost, but I'm willing to bet that they'll eventually add that. I can't see why they wouldn't. If a player wants to put that on that ability, it is so important, but maybe because it's not an ultimate, they won't do that. I don't know. The reception online for Lifeweaver has looked a little mixed from what I can tell, with some players skeptical that it's a good addition to the game, but I can say, having played a lot with ML7, I can relate to his take. Here on Twitter, he says Lifeweaver's kit is such a great solution for a lot of problems in Overwatch 2, and his potential for great plays as a support is unmatched. Okay, so unmatched potential. He's one of the few creators I've seen kind of really big up the potential of what the character can do. He says, I'm so hyped to see how creative people will get with his core kit once he's released on April 11th. And something else to keep in mind, right? Something that we keep talking about with support prior to Season 4 was just how difficult it was to traverse around the map as like Ana and Zen. And while on one aspect, they're fixing that with the stranded spawn system, that's a big buff, I think, to slow supports especially. But another one is a character solving that problem, where Lifeweaver is going to reposition your Ana fluidly through the fight. And if she gets another cycle of abilities and can't be dove or gets saved from being dove, that's just an insane flip of value and is just a new concept that didn't exist before. Dramatic repositioning has not been a thing other than even like offensively with maybe Wrecking Ball. Now we have a defensive version of that. And I tend to agree with all this. I'm pretty high on Lifeweaver as a character. I don't think you're going to miss high healing numbers when your team can like constantly be in position and the enemy's not. That's pretty devastating in Overwatch if you've ever played it before. I think we all know that feeling. To celebrate and commemorate Lifeweaver being added to the game, there is a Overwatch 2 FlashOps Tournament Lifeweaver Invitational. Content creators in a 4-team double elimination event will fight for 10,000 USD prize pool. On April 9th, the content creators will draft their team to fill up with other Overwatch League pros. So this is some of that content creator OWL cross promotion that we've been looking for. The draft is on April 9th, with the tournament taking place the following Sunday, April 16th. April 9th is also the Pro-Am Finals, just 3 days away. And a special rule for the event, Lifeweaver is a must pick. Dexerto did an interview with Dion Rogers, who dropped some enthusiasm for potentially getting a Dragon Ball Z collaboration. He said, "I can see Roadhog as Majin Buu, and Batiste as Vegeta would be pretty amazing." Which, of course, Batiste already has a spray paying homage to the very famous meme where Vegeta says his power level's over 9,000, crushing his scanner. That's the anime crossover Boomer Frito would like to see. I was watching Dragon Ball Z 25 years ago, though, so I don't know if the kids watch that one anymore. But if nothing else, the dev team seems to be getting more creative with the skin events and the branching out to other Overwatch universes almost, or parallel universes, which I think is pretty cool and exciting and allows for more storytelling and really like infinite content if they keep doing that. I think those statements from Aaron are going to fly under the radar a little bit, and people aren't going to realize how big of a commitment that aims to be. The Overwatch storyline will have its like finite story missions, but they can infinitely span out into unique mini events and alternate timelines as much as they see fit. Guys, that's everything for today's news roundup video. If you did like it, please be sure to leave the video with a like. And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to actually get notified when our videos come out. That's been it for me. I've been Frito for your Overwatch. I'll see you guys next time.